Hello guys, it's Jake from Watch for Tactical, and today I'm going to be showing you how to fix a leaky Moscart. Okay, Moscarts are the things that go inside these lovely contraptions. Okay, this one is the Golden Eagle one. It is a really cool bit of kit. Basically, what you get is this super cool launcher. Pop one of these into obviously the housing, drop it back. When you pull the trigger, this then showers everybody in the area with a decent amount of BBs. All right, really cool. However, they are really prone to leaking, and partly because you are charging something with gas and then you're discharging it over and over again repeatedly to obviously get the desired effect of using the shower effect. So when you change pressure in anything like that, you're going to experience leakages and obviously gas that's expelling out. So what we're going to do is show you right now, putting the gas in, you can hear that just venting straight out, and it's coming through the valves at the top, right? Usually this is a mixture of leak from where the O-ring hasn't sealed correctly, or where the ball bearings at the bottom need a re-grease, right? So what we're going to do is break this apart, and that's usually done by screwing this middle bit away from each other. Now it is quite stiff, so screw that, okay, and it will separate. Now some of these are built different, they're not all built the same. So if you get one that is slightly different than this, I apologise. For reference, this is a Golden Eagle 40mm Moscart. Okay, now two components. You've got the lower half, you've got the top half. Your BBs normally sit in these rings here, and you speed load that through the top. The purpose of this O-ring around here is only to sustain those BBs from coming out. All right, that is the only real purpose. That doesn't have anything else to do with the working parts than that. Okay, there's also then obviously the lower end, which is where all the gas is kept in the cylinder. When you fill through the bottom here, that is where the gas is contained, and they sit against this O-ring that's at the top around here. All right, now there are ball bearings also sat in these side little holes. All right, and there's 4 in this one. Ace Tech is a nightmare to work with on these. Excuse me. They have about 12 ball bearings, and they're really small. There's also then obviously the let's say the percussion cap, or the cap that sits at the bottom. Okay, that's what your when you pull the trigger, the hammer will hit, and that will release the gas, which then throws the BBs out, and the spring here to keep all that obviously maintained. Now you can see where there was previous silicone around this, and it is a little bit gungy, it's a little bit yellow, not the clearest of silicone. So what we'll do first of all is give it a little wipe round, give it a little clean, make sure the old silicone is taken off and there's nothing on there. And again, this usually just happens where the pistol itself, or the parts have been sat on a warehouse, they've been made, they've then not been greased or lubricated since they've been manufactured, and it's either dried up or there wasn't enough of them on there when they were first made. So this O-ring here should seat to the bottom of this to create a good seal. Now as I'm putting that in, there is no seal whatsoever. Okay, don't know how well you can see that on the camera. Okay, I can see it's literally not making any contact. So what we're going to do is take that O-ring out, put some grease underneath it, and then some grease over the top. And then we're going to bang some grease in and around these ball bearings to keep it all sealed in at the top. Getting that O-ring out can be a bit tricky. Usually stab myself in the finger, so just be careful when you're taking out the O-ring, okay? However, we want a nice, healthy amount of lubrication under that O-ring. So, prying this out with a set of tweezers or something similar, okay? And we are just going to pop that O-ring off there like so, and they're going to get the silicone, and we're going to use the trusty old silicone gun grease, or you can grab yourself like a maintenance kit or anything similar. Okay, Nuprol do a really good maintenance kit. It's only 15 quid, and it kind of gives you everything. I say 15 quid, it's a bit cheaper, but it gives you everything you need, right? So what we're going to do is run a heavy amount of silicone inside that groove, and then try and get that all the way around the working parts there, okay, or as best we can. And we're going to pop that O-ring on. Now, if we do this and that O-ring and this piece doesn't seal properly, what we're going to do is replace that O-ring with a fatter one. Now, you might think, why have I got to do that when I've just brought it? It's brand new. However, sometimes seals will shrink. It's not something that's usually covered under warranty, so just bear that in mind when you're purchasing stuff like this. Okay, and again, the change in pressure from you using it, the change in temperature can cause O-rings to shrink quite easily, or damage or tear and fray. All right, now what we're going to do is bang a load of silicone, quite a decent amount, okay, in those ball bearings there. All right, that stops them from moving out. So if you pick one of these up and out and you start to find that the ball bearings are rolling all around, don't worry, just give that a healthy paste of lubricant and it should keep it in. Okay, we've got the lower end and the lower part. Now what we're going to do here, because this is heavily greasy, is just drop cap end into there so it sits in the base. Drop that on top of our spring, okay, should be nice and seated. Make sure the ball bearings haven't fell out, okay, and it should be in there in position. I'm also going to bang just a slight bit of thinner, more runny lubricant on the threads. and that just again helps one, stop the threads from threading, and also means you'll get a better seal around it as well. Okay, so screw that in. Make sure obviously you don't thread that screw. There we go. Up it all the way around. Perfect. And then we're going to put some gas in, and hopefully it shouldn't leak, so we'll see. If it does, just first of all make sure your percussion cap is pushed in. Make sure that gas is all working around. No, so we're still failing. Right, so what we're going to do now is change that O-ring completely with a larger, better fitted O-ring, okay? So, unscrewing again, nice and simple. We know what we're doing already. We don't need to reapply new grease or silicone, but we are going to have to change that O-ring. You can actually see already how dry that's got straight away. It's like the gas has just pushed all of the silicone off from that, which is quite annoying, because I could have done that the first time. It would have saved a bit of this video. However, at least you get to witness the full process. So we're going to take that O-ring off again without stabbing ourselves in the finger. Slide your tool underneath, okay, and pop the O-ring off. Doesn't matter if you tear it or damage it, obviously at this point, because we are replacing the O-ring completely. Okay, you'll need an O-ring set or something. Now you don't have to use the exact same O-ring. You can use a slightly larger one or different sizes. We sell these sets here, okay. They're pretty common, what you'll find on any generic O-ring kind of box, okay, and there's loads in this. So all I'm going to do is find one that is possibly just slightly thicker, but in and around the same kind of size, like diameter wise as this one, and we want to make sure it's got a good strong seal around it when we put it on. So looking at those now, I can see I've got some here that are a little bit thicker, but let's see how we get on with this one. So I'm going to pop this one on. I'm going to see far too thin, too big, sorry. That's no good. So we need, okay then guys, so once we've found the O-ring that fits in, so this one's slightly larger, what we want to do is just test that for the seal as well. So here, pushing that in, you can see now there's a good solid seal around that, okay, and that's nice and stiff in there, okay. So what we're going to do, just to finish that off, is just bang the other bit of silicone around that, okay, which obviously just gives it a second to grease in and seal it up as well, a little bit more. So there we go. Obviously drop the silicone. I've been handed this in my hands for quite a while, so that silicone now is kind of going. Drop a bit of silicone back in where those ball bearings are, run those into the grooves, make sure they're not coming out. Perfect. Right, we're going to pop that back on there. I'm just going to clean my hands so I get rid of all the excess silicone that I've got. There we go. Okay, and then we are going to obviously tighten that back on to the top. So give that a screw on. There we go. We don't want to cross thread those screws, so make sure it's nice and tight. Make sure the valve's working. Perfect. Moment of truth again. Put that gas in there. Lovely. And you can hear that that is now nice and sealed. Okay. So the way we test that to make sure that it has sealed, okay, obviously is to give it a little fire. So what I'm going to do is obviously just load this one into the launcher, pop it in like so, cock it back down, and then give it a nice big thump. I think this one's quite stiff. There we go. So that is now all working. That's maintaining the seals, okay? That's how you do it. Now, it can be a bit fiddly. Oh, not my camera about. There we go. It can take a couple of attempts, a couple of tries. But once you've got that nailed down and you know what O-rings you need and what size, okay, it's a lot more simple, all right? It's pretty easy to do so with one of these, okay? There's not many parts in them. It just requires a heavy amount of grease and a little bit of understanding of where the pressure points are that the gas is maintained in. As soon as you know that, you know where you need to seal, where you need to grease up again after that, all right? Hope that was of some use to you. Sorry it wasn't in one full video. I have had to cut it whilst it took me about 3 minutes to find the exact O-ring to fit there. But the principle obviously behind that is all the same, okay? So hopefully that has been some use to you. If it has, obviously like, subscribe and give us a follow. And again, keep on top for more airsoft tips, obviously with White's Fit Tactical. Perfect. See you soon.